this week, besides talking about riff tracks and stuff like that, uh, um, is we're continuing to talk in our series about fourth quarter. And
Mm.
one of the lessons I learned today, so I met with our accountant today and talked through our quarterlies. And in Nebraska, we have Big Ten football now. Now in Texas, you guys have had Big 12 never got canceled, I don't think, right? Like I
I
don't follow
don't
football.
know.
So,
I'm from Texas and I don't follow football. I know that's kind of an
no,
oxymoron, but
it's the way it is in Nebraska too. It's like if you
you
don't
know.
hunt and watch football, are you really from Nebraska? um, so the reason I bring this up is that for people attending, like I don't watch football. I was recruited to D1 football in college. I'm a big guy. I was fast. I was big. I was strong. But man, those guys in D1 are gigantic. Anyways, beside the point.
Um,
The reason I bring this up is that I don't follow football. I don't. It just I can barely tell you who the coach of the Huskers is, and that's just oh my gosh, how can you not know that around here? And like my 2-year-old knows, 6-year-old knows. You just ask around. The reason that it's important is that it affects our economy. So when Big Ten football announced that they are postponing, this caused a ripple effect of panic, as in Lincoln, Nebraska, we are a football town. We are a college town. So a lot of economic activity follows this influx of something like 70,000 people that come into town on game
wow.
day.
Wow.
And that's a little bit unique to Lincoln, Nebraska, of anywhere in the United States. We literally have 70,000 people who come to town on a home game. We have sold out our college stadium something like 250 times in a row. We have the longest standing sellouts
Wow.
in the United States.
Wow.
And it largely it's because we don't got much else. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have a pro football team. We don't have a pro baseball team. We got a semi-pro. But
There you go.
the reason is, even though I don't care about sports, I need to care about what's going on and what affects my town.
Yeah.
And in each of your towns, like you hear Skip talk about oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about oil and gas. Why? Because it's not a big thing in Nebraska. Gas prices here, gas prices in Texas, gas prices in Canada.
Yep.
So people like in Calgary, those oil barrel prices. Everybody knows the oil barrel prices because it's such a large influencer on your culture. So in Nebraska, when it comes to fourth quarter, that's a big quarter for a lot of local businesses here. 70,000 tourists coming into town means a lot for the hospitality industry, who's had a really bad year. I mean, just up to date, they've had a bad year.
Yeah.
Your restaurants, your shopping, anything downtown surrounding that stadium, they count on this fourth quarter cash to get them through the rest of the year. And so when Big Ten announced that they were not going to be having a season, Nebraska was at the forefront saying, what? So now that has changed in October, what we're looking at is, okay, we have to shift. So what we were talking about just last week was the fact that all these restaurants and all these businesses were going to close downtown due to a lack of influx. And then in first quarter, second quarter, we were preparing for a bunch of new businesses to open and prep for 2021's fall. This is how far in the future you have to think when it comes to business strategy. When you think about your clients, how is this affecting them in a year? So that's the three-phase thing that a lot of us, like my accountants, anybody in the support industries like technology or janitorial services, they're all looking at fourth quarter, everybody closing business. A large amount of businesses closed, going on fire sale. Investors were looking at slurping up a bunch of these businesses. January, February, a bunch of new businesses open, being ready with their advertising schemes to hit them. And with, hey, let's make you successful in 2021. But as of this week, since Big Ten is now on, we're all trying to shift and adapt to what that means for our client base. And you need to be thinking locally in your area, these fourth quarter adjustments that are happening, you got to adapt with them so you can be at the forefront. And you smaller MSPs that are on these calls, you're the agile ones. You're the adaptive ones. You're the ones that are going to be able to pivot like that with your clients. So when they say, nope, it turns out, actually, we're going to be in business at the end of the year. And maybe like that your clients are looking to do a big push in fourth quarter now that they know that something is happening. So here in Nebraska, guess what? We're going to start shifting our advertising dollars to be maximize your fourth quarter. Get more cash out of your fourth quarter with Virtual C, or get more, find your MSP's name, get most out of your fourth quarter with enhanced technology via our technology company.
Yep.
And
there's,
go ahead.
Let me throw in a good, kind of a tip here, because we're always talking about having the strategic conversation and being business focused, right? And I get a lot of feedback. Sometimes it's not directed. Sometimes I pick up some feedback from you guys, and you're like, give me a switch. Give me the biggest. Give me a BFR router, right? And
What's that?
What's that? Give me that, and I can tackle it. But some of you guys are a little. Maybe a little shakier talking to the executive, the C-suite, about their business, right? Because it's not core to what you do. And so I get that. But just asking some simple questions along these lines. Hey, what's you guys Q4 looking like? I mean, you don't have to ask detailed questions. You don't have to analyze, the P&L sheet or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a business guy, but I can be really strategic with my clients.
Oh,
right?
That was the idea behind the lessons learned. This is why we hit those so hard, is that you don't have to be a business-minded person. You just have to include or keep space for it. So like with those 3 questions, what went well,
that's all it takes.
What could do better, and what are your action items? Those are business questions.
But now, and here's the bonus here's the bonus element to that. So, you ask one guy, what's your Q4 looking like? So a good friend of mine, I was talking to him just last night, and I didn't intentionally get into it because we were talking personal stuff, but we ended up talking about business. It always happens. And he says, things Q4 have been really, really, light. It looks like they're going in that it's slightly oil and gas related, but they sell big equipment, parts and pieces for big equipment. And he says, we're not really planning on a lot in Q4. We're gearing up for Q1, Q2. And, we're putting together quotes. We got clients, that are asking us about this, and they're telling us, they're wanting it, January, February, March, whatever the time frame is. And so that's great information. I mean, I didn't need tons of information about Ed's business. I got what I needed. Now I take that and I go to, the next guy, and I'm talking to them, and I go, hey, I got a buddy over at, so-and-so. Maybe you say the name, maybe you don't, but hey, I got a friend, and they're really looking at a, kind of maybe a slowed down Q4, but a really, really big Q1. What are you guys looking at? And you kind of get this comparing notes sort of deal. You get this discussion going on, but here's where it really benefits you. Your clients, again, shift their perspective, all right? And they begin seeing you not so much as just Mr. Fix-It, but hey, this guy knows what's going on. He's talking to a lot of people across different industries, other companies, and that makes them much more engaged with you when you're talking, when you're having a meeting. They want to hear what you have to say because they feel you're plugged in. They feel you know what's going on. And to get to that level, all you got to do is ask a few questions. Follow up with Adam's deal from last week. I mean, it's really simple. You get a few questions in there, and all of a sudden you're building your knowledge, but at a greater level, you're building trust with your clients.
Yeah, and the quality of quarter 4 right now is that it's gonna be crazy, people. And in Nebraska here, like just this week they announced the Big Ten. That changes a lot of people. A lot of people are trying to say, okay, how do I adapt quicker? Some of your clients may even just have simple questions around, how do I run a Facebook campaign? They may have simple questions around, okay, now that I know that Q4 is going to pick up, if so in Nebraska, but if in your industries or in your areas, if something drastic changes like that, can you offer your clients to help them take advantage of the shifting market? Your technology professionals, there are things that you have to offer. Whether it's what is the new Teams feature? Can anybody out there remind me what it is? It's
Oh,
the everybody's sitting in a symposium now.
yeah. What do they call it?
I just
Teams Teams Meet or something? I don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't. Anyways,
Somebody. Oh,
somebody
here it's coming
messages
in
me.
chat. Yeah. Gallery.
Gallery. There we go. Thanks,
Yeah.
Michael. I was like, is there a way you can use that to make your clients look good? Because they don't know about it. And my wife was just saying, yeah, we just started using Teams. We decided not to use Skype. I'm like, well, actually, you didn't have a choice. And I was like, oh, are you using Gallery? And or the new Teams meeting thing. And so, is there a way you can use that to teach your clients who are hosting seminars, or maybe you're in a teaching capacity or in education, to do a nice virtual classroom or to do a virtual conference with people, to kind of do like almost like a little gimmick? That Gallery, it does look cool. I haven't seen it in person. And if somebody wants to invite me to one just so I can see what it looks like, that'd be great. But the concept there is that your clients don't know about this. They may be able to use it to enhance their Q4. So there's lots of technologies like that maybe will give your clients an edge in Q4, because in their minds they're looking for whatever they can right now to get that edge. Like, heck, I've had a conversation this morning with another business owner about how, now that we know that Big Ten is open, okay, how do we take advantage of this? Well, heck, what if we just went halvesies on a food truck? Because not everybody's going to be able to go to the stadium. We're guessing there's social distance the stadium. We still are going to have that 70,000 influx of people of season pass holders. They're going to come in and tailgate the crap out of Lincoln, Nebraska. We need a parking lot, and I need a food truck, and I can start printing cash. Now, I'm a technology person. What can I bring to this? Well, maybe I can help with like a live stream of the game. Maybe I can provide that.
Yeah.
And something simple like that can give my clients an edge. So whether it's a church who wants to do an event in a parking lot near the stadium to kind of do a publicity or a fundraiser for a mission or whatever, or maybe you're a nonprofit who goes out and helps people during game day. A lot of feeding the poor goes on during that time. It's really kind of cool if you ever want to come out to Nebraska. The game days are really interesting. So are there ways for you to provide technology that would enhance a tailgate? And maybe it seems dumb to you in your head right now, but when the amount of cash that goes through a tailgate in Nebraska, you won't laugh. And
this is a really good
client who's willing to drop, $5-10 grand on a project so they can live stream a game on large LED displays or something seamlessly from the back of their food truck. Now you've got a great project.
Well, and this, this little scenario that you've built here really does reinforce the importance of managing those project roadmaps for your clients, right? Because quite easily in this, you could be sat down with a client and you're looking at, and if you follow our recommendations, especially, my soft touch sales approach, which, is bring up something with the client, get them on board with it. When you get approval, just put it out there on the calendar. However far out, it doesn't really matter. Just put it out there. They may be cash constrained or whatever, but they've got it out there that said, hey, yeah, that we're interested in that. I think we ought to do that. We just can't do it right now, but you got it on the project roadmap. Then something like this happens, like what Adam's talking about, whatever it is. Maybe, if it's down in Texas, we get a sudden spike in oil prices, all of a sudden everybody's budgets change overnight. Okay. But if I've already got that project roadmap built up, maybe they had something on the calendar for Q2 for, next year. And this event happens, you call them up and go, hey, just want to follow up.
I noticed oil hit $80 a barrel. You guys
Do you
ready to do
guys
that
want,
project?
yes,
Ready
do
to
you
do
want to
that
run
upgrade?
these up? You've already got approval. They've already decided they were going to do that. We're just going to change the time now. And so all of a sudden you could be looking at fast tracking 5, 10 projects, maybe 5, 10% of all your projects. I mean, depending on what you got going on, but having those project roadmaps built out ahead of time is really going to help you out. That's why we stress the importance, because right now, if again, we'll use Adam's example here, if you're trying to hit up all the guys in the the hospitality industry down there around the stadium right now, they're running around with their hair on fire, right? I mean, yesterday the world was ending. Today, they get a new lease on life. So, and you call them and go, "Hey, I'd like to have a strategy session." They're like, "Dude, I don't have
Really
time."
want to see alcohol sales for this past week. There's
And
a lot of binge drinking going on. I'm almost
there,
certain.
yep. But if you had had your strategy session with them 4 weeks ago, and you call them up and go, "Hey, man, sounds like things are turning around. Do you want to fast track some of your projects?" And I mean, they'd go, "You bet. That wireless
And
one, we need that now." You know.
if you guys have been doing your lessons learned, you have that information. So in that
Hmm.
what's not going well,
There you
that should have popped up,
go. Ooh,
that
yeah,
should have
that would have been
popped up and
that would have like
said
a yes.
fourth quarter is going to be sucky for us because
Yeah.
the Big Ten isn't happening. That's volleyball and football, and that means a lot of revenue is missing. Well, all of a sudden you see the news announcement that Big Ten is going to start up in October, and it's going to be unique this year because they're going to do 8 straight weeks of football, no bye weeks. So what does that mean for local businesses? So now you're calling up your client saying, "Hey, I remember in lessons learned, you said it was going to be a bad fourth quarter because of the lack of Big Ten. I see that's changed. How can we help?"
Yep. You're right there.
Now you're there with them. You've been paying
Yep.
attention. How can we help? What can we do to get to that next level? Maybe they need a new POS system to just make sure that they can process as many people as possible. Maybe their bottleneck is their website, online sales. Is that something your company can help with? Or at least if you have a VCIO or account manager, can they coordinate that project as a trusted advisor to get them into a more streamlined capacity by fourth quarter? What can you bring to the table to help people out? And if you've been doing lessons learned, you now see that something that was bad has been turned into an opportunity.
Hmm.
So I guarantee you here in
That's it.
Nebraska, as soon as that first home game happens, the freaking streets are going to light up here. Everybody's going to be like out and about and social distancing, whatever. But people are going to be, because that is a big deal. That's a big social activity here in Lincoln. Well, our COVID numbers will probably spike that weekend. But
So then your healthcare professionals need more support, right? It's all good.
my healthcare professional friends need a break.
Oh, that's true.
And but how are you prepping for this? How are you helping your clients given the climates? And so how do they do financial planning? It depends. What is the stressor in your locale for fourth quarter? So with Skip, it's oil barrel prices. Man, that was a freaking ride back in, was it April?
Yes. Yes.
But the thing is, I would never known about that except for we have clients in Calgary and Texas who, like, that is central to their business model.
Yep.
Even though they are in the oil and gas industry, all their clients are. And so with education, a lot of you have primary education. You help schools. Man, August, what a show. Now we're in fourth quarter and the schools are constantly worried, like, what if we have to shut down again? What if shut down again?
Yeah.
How are you helping them solve that problem?
Yep.
So you got to read your own client base, because this fourth quarter is hold on to your butts. Some people are going to freeze and they're not going to do anything until quarter one, quarter two, because they know that fourth quarter is going to be such a crazy time. So for the clients that are freezing their financial planning, who are not looking at projection, they're looking at a loss or they're looking at doing nothing in fourth quarter, you want to hit them up for your QBRs or your annual meetings so you can plan out 2021, because they're doing that right now. You need to do it. For those people that are freezing, get a meeting with them in October so that when they do November financial budgeting, when they do their budgeting, that you are one of the first asks. For the people that are like, they count on fourth quarter for a lot of the revenue, and that's going to be your retail businesses, that's going to be your boutiques, that's going to be your travel industry, hospitality. Fourth quarter is huge for them. How are you
Yeah.
helping them make up for the losses of the last 6 months? You are
Yeah.
technology professionals. This is what we do. We make things more efficient. We make them better. So you need to look through your big clients. Start with your class A's and think, okay, which ones of these and are in the most stress? Is there something I can help them with? Be it
Yep.
as simple as Microsoft Gallery to give them a interesting maybe way of presenting their presentations, or is it something as complex as helping them with a mobile Wi-Fi setup so they can do a hotspot off their food truck or coffee truck?
Mm-hmm.
How complex can you be? Is up to you. But what you need to be solving is problems facing your local economy so that you became a financial risk mitigator in fourth quarter or in quarter 1, 2 of 2021, that you have a plan to give them so that when they get their new budget, when they get their influx of cash, that you're right on top of that list. Those projects are ready to go.
Yep. So let me kind of reinforce that, you know, because I really want you guys out there doing those. The lessons learned is the activity, but the result is we're managing those projects. We got things coming up on the calendar. So let me run a little scenario here, just kind of hopefully prime the pump. If you've got education partners, right? Anybody in education right now, you know, they're probably getting their CDC information or whatever. They're having to follow, you know, guidelines. And for the most part, you know, from what I'm hearing, they're planning on you know, managing the distance learning as best they can. You know, no one is saying, hey, we're just going to, you know, turn off Zoom and put everybody back in the classroom. All right. Nobody's doing that. But let's say that, you know, you sit down, you have a lessons learned meeting with them, you've got a roadmap, you've got some things that they're already saying, hey, you know, May, June, July, we need to get these done because we got kids, we're planning on kids coming back in the fall of 2021. So we want to be ready for that. All right. So you're geared up. But let's say that, you know, we're living in the, you know, the 1 out of whatever 1,000th alternate realities in this subset or whatever, you know, that the magic cure comes down. All right. Let's say, you know, October 1st, there is a magic pill, you know, that makes COVID-19 go away. All right. Those guys are going to change their full footprint altogether. All right. Whatever you had on the calendar is going to get fast tracked to Q1, the latter part of Q4, just as soon as it can. Okay. Now, like I said, you know, alternate reality stuff, whatever, you know, so that doesn't happen. What does happen? Well, we keep at it. We keep going on, you know, we come around March, April, May. Well, now we got these events that are there, and you'll be able to execute on them. So there's really no way to lose in this, is what I'm getting at. Okay, there's a way to really, really win, and then there's a way to just plain old ordinarily win. So
Yep.
you got to get these out there. I mean, the only way you can screw this up is to not do it. And that is really the only way to do it, because if you don't do it and something happens and you're caught flat-footed and all of a sudden they've got money to spend and you didn't have a plan and a project roadmap out for them, well, that's how you lose. That's how you screw it up. But if you get it going now, there really is no way to screw this up, you know, in these terms that we're talking about. So get out there, get those going.
Yep. And of course, you know, we got to end with our sales pitch here.
Mm-hmm.
is that
Absolutely.
is that if you notice in the email, we did push this out to existing members only for fourth quarter. Just hit 2020 before October 1st.
Yep.
And we will do 3 months of coaching for the price of 2. And the reason for that is to help you with this adaptive fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is such a mess. Like, We were trying to figure out a way to come up with something that was going to help you through fourth quarter. And the problem is the target keeps moving. And so we
Yeah.
decided that because we're going to offer a workshop. What about a NIST workshop? Maybe everybody could benefit from that. Risk mitigation. Let's do risk portfolios on all clients in fourth quarter. Well, the target moved. And so, okay, let's move on to the next thing. So the deal for fourth quarter became, all right, let's just walk with our clients for 3 months. And you now, instead of saying, I don't have enough employees, you can now say, okay, I'm going to have Virtual-C help me through fourth quarter. And that is the deal that came up. That is the deal that we want to present to you, that pick an employee or yourselves and let us help assess your particular quadrant in fourth quarter, your particular locale, and figure out what kinds of projects are going to best benefit your clients. So grab that, sign up for it, and our goal is to generate you more revenue than the coaching will cost.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
look at
And
that.
we've seen success with that over and over. I mean, we've got, lots of clients out there that have been able to easily generate a lot more money. And the better part is, yes, I mean, I like that success ratio, but the real satisfaction is we've seen companies really transform, really pivot the way they're doing business. And that just sets them up to be so much healthier, so much longer. I mean, even after the costs are recovered, and they're making more money, the business is still aligned with the goals that it needs to be aligned with, and it's still being successful and going forward. So yeah, I think this would be a great opportunity. I encourage you guys to jump on that.
Except for, you don't want to get me. I'm boring. Make sure your requests skip. But with that, fourth quarter is going to be interesting, people. Don't get stuck in operations. Get plans made with your clients. Identify what they need, and you will generate a lot more revenue, and you will end up 2020 strong. Or at the very least, you're going to start 2021 with a very strong game plan for your clients.
There you go.
And that's all I have to say about that. We'll see everyone next week.
That's all you have to say this week.
We'll see you.
See you.